Hey everyone, this is Mike Andes, and you're listening to the Business Bootcamp Podcast. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my interviewing tips, as I've been interviewing 20 to 30 people in the past few days, and I want to pass along some of the advice I have for you as you begin to hire and interview potential applicants. Before we get into today's show, a big thank you to a sponsor, which is Gusto. If you haven't already, go to gusto.com/bootcamp. Get a free 90-day trial of their software. You might have just been processing your taxes, the W-2s for your employees, getting the year-end stuff all put together. And if it's been a pain, or if you have been tired of waiting on the phone for customer service, you've been tired of trying to figure out the numbers and put together those numbers for your employees' taxes, you're definitely going to want to check out Gusto. It's a simple, very, very transparent way of communicating all about compensation, benefits with your employees. Check it out today. Go to gusto.com/bootcamp for that free 90-day trial. And as we're talking about interviewing today, remember, compensation and transparency with your pay and your people is very important. So check it out today. Go to gusto.com/bootcamp. Now today I'm going to be sharing with you 4 different things that I really think is important when it comes to interviewing people. So in the landscaping industry, we really have to beef up our staff come spring. And so there's this time of year, there's just a huge amount of applicants, and we are very fortunate for our business to have a lot of applicants, very quality applicants. Last year, we won #1 place to work in our county, and so it's been a lot of applicants, very, very good quality, a lot of people that are really overqualified for the positions that we're offering. And so we're very fortunate to have that. However, there is still, #1, the screening process that is very important. So #1, I'm going to give you 4 tips that I would recommend for your interviewing process. #1 is a screening process. Not everyone that has a heartbeat, not everyone that applies for your business, not everyone that is recommended from anyone that's working in your business already should get an interview. There's got to be a screening process. There's got to be a way to keep out the people that are not going to work for your business and that are going to slow you down in the hiring process. The problem that I find with when companies have a huge amount of applicants is they get so overwhelmed with the volume of the applicants that they actually begin to lose out on the quality of the individuals because they're just trying to get through all the interviews. And so #1 thing I would recommend is a screening process. So we use a screening process in terms of making them fill out an online form, and then also having the office contact them. And throughout that process, we're looking for what are the red lights? What are the things that are warning lights that are going to prevent them from being hired at our facility? So on that online form, it's not just like a fill out the form in terms of information about them and their resume and where they worked. We're looking for certain things. So obviously we want to make sure they're non-smoker, that they are okay with a background check and a drug test. Those things are going to weed out and screen out a whole bunch of people. We also are going to just basically give them a paragraph to say anything they want. So instead of asking for a resume or attaching a file and then sending the same resume to 100 different companies, we ask for a specialized paragraph. And so it's very vague. It says, hey, tell us a little bit about yourself, why you'd be good for this position, and a little bit about your experience. And so we are looking for individuals that actually take the time to write a dedicated paragraph. We're looking for individuals that are not just going to copy and paste their resume. We're looking for individuals that are going to take some time on that paragraph, and they're going to have it grammatically correct, and it's going to flow well. They're going to be professional in the writing of that paragraph. And so we can screen out a huge amount of people before we even have to contact them, simply by looking at the way they write that paragraph. Are they willing to have a drug test? Do they smoke? We can already weed out so many people that typically would waste our time in the hiring process. We can do that all just by the screening process prior to them even having an interview. And so after that web form is filled out and a bunch of them are screened out already, then the office is going to call an individual and continue the screening process. They're going to talk to them a little bit, see, are they good on the phone? Are they articulate? Are they clear and concise? Are they professional on the phone? Or are they abrupt, rude, not really caring about their tone or inflection? And those people are going to also be weeded out by the office. Now, if the screening process the applicant has gotten through all the screening processes and they haven't alerted any red lights, And so we're already looking, have they, once they've sent their resume after that screening process, we're looking for, again, trying to screen them out by seeing, okay, are they job hopping? Are they going from job to job to job? Over the past 5 years, they have 8 different jobs. There's a really good chance they're not going to stay at our place of work for very long if that has been the case. And so we're looking for indicators now in that resume before they show up to that interview to, again, see if we can screen them out early in the process. We're looking for gaps in employment. So we're looking, why weren't they employed for 6 months according to their resume? Why haven't they been employed for the past 3 months? That's important. If they haven't been employed for a long time, that's a really, really bad thing in this type of labor market where there's so many job opportunities and the unemployment rate is so low. If someone hasn't been working for several months, that's a huge red light for us. Again, we're seeing all of this before the interview process even begins. This is all screening process. That's number 1. The screening process is very important. Number 2, so the second tip I would give when it comes to interviewing is don't waste their time and don't waste your time. If they come to the interview and they've passed the screening process, they've passed the resume check, they are now in your office and you are doing the interview, do not waste their time. Do not waste your time. If you know they are not going to be a good fit for your organization, they are not going to succeed with your company, your coworkers and your employees and your management team is not going to jive with their vibe. If you already know that, don't waste their time. Don't waste your time. Get through that interview in a matter of minutes and get them out the door. If you already know it's not going to work, get them out the door and save yourself time. Don't waste time and spin your wheels answering their questions, and creating questions of your own, getting really all like in philosophy and like getting really deep and spending 30, 40, 50 minutes on an interview that you already know isn't going to work out. So as soon as you know there's a red flag, as soon as you know you're not going to hire them, don't waste their time, don't waste your time. How do you do that nicely? How I do that is I basically say, look, this interview here is basically just to get your references. I will collect their references and then tell them that if the office is interested in following up with them afterwards, that they will contact their references and then let that applicant know if they want them to come back in. So if I'm trying to get rid of somebody and I know they're not going to work for our business and early in the interview process, I know they're not going to be a fit, I am simply going to say that, hey, look, this meeting is basically to get your references. We will contact your references, and then we will contact you if we want to proceed with the interview process, the hiring process. So number 1 is screening process. Number 2 is don't waste their time, don't waste your time, and you do not want to spend hours on end talking to applicants that you absolutely know will not work for your culture. Number 3, references matter. So let's say you get the reference now. You've got the references from these people. These are very, very important. We will make or break the decisions of our hiring based upon what the references say. I am looking for glowing referrals and references. I am looking for people that say that they have never had a better employee. I'm looking for the references to say that it will be the best hire I've ever had. I'm looking for that reference to say that that individual was a great leader, was fast learner, was able to humble themselves and work as a team member. That is the kind of things I am looking for. If I do not get a glowing review and a reference that is absolutely positive, I am going to pass, even if they had they got this screening process, they had a great interview, their resume checked out, everything was good, but if their references are not absolutely fantastic, and I'm talking 2 or 3 off the charts, amazing references, we will not hire them. And so you've got to set these stop measures and these, everyone complains about having these, bad employees and having bad breakups with their employees down the road, but a lot of that could be foregone if you didn't have to hire them and they weren't going to work. Now, it's not about you and your culture and even how great you are and how great you want your business to be. They are not going to be successful. That employee is not going to be successful in your culture. You do not, in their best interest, you do not want them to work for you because they're going to go to some other business and that will work for them. That will be a culture that they will thrive in and grow in and make more money in and get better experience in and be able to mature in. And so you want them to get to that place. You do not want to hire them if you're going to hold them back and your culture is not going to fit with the way their personality and their characteristics are. All right, so you want them in their best interest to find the place that's going to work best for them. And absolutely, you do not want to hire a lemon that is going to infect your culture and cause trouble down the road. So those references are absolutely critical. A red light for me is even a pause or a hint of apprehension when I call that reference. If that reference doesn't set aside everything they're doing and want to talk about their previous employee or their current employee, if that is the case, it's also a red flag. I am looking for a glowing review of that employee. And so number 3 is references absolutely matter when it comes to the interviewing process. Number 4, be efficient. All right, so I've learned this in the past few days. I hosted a conference last weekend, and so the interviews started piling up this week. So Monday was instantly like 12 interviews, and then Tuesday again, and then Wednesday. So I think I've done probably 30 interviews in the past few days, and absolutely it's taken a lot of my time. And so what we've done and what we have done the past few years has worked really well is when we have to hire a bunch of people, instead of doing 30, 40 interviews, and then we've hired 3 people so far out of all of those interviews. Instead of doing that, what we will do over the course of the next couple months is do several career fairs. So this is about being efficient with the interviewing process. Instead of interviewing 40 people and me having to talk to all of them, instead of that, I want 40 or 50 people in a career fair where I can talk for 30, 40 minutes and instantly take out, screen out, keep out 80% plus of them and only have to interview a small segment of them based upon giving them information, talking about the job position, talking about the culture, explaining who will not work well with the culture, who will not work well inside of the company, and letting themselves disqualify themselves and not show up for the interviews the next day. And so this is a great thing to do, is career fairs. I don't call them job fairs. I want people who are looking for careers and professionals. And so we call it a career fair. We're going to have one like a week, and in a week, I think like 10 days from now, we're going to have it at 4 o'clock on a Saturday so that people are available. If they currently have a job, they can still make it. If they're on shift work, they can still make it. And we are going to have 45 minutes or so where I talk about the culture of the company. I talk about the company history. I talk about the opportunities within the company. I talk about the future of the company. I talk about myself personally and my relationship with the business and my goals and what the company is going to do in the future in terms of growth. I talk about all of those things, and then literally out of 40 or 50 people that show up, maybe I will interview 10, and out of those, maybe I will hire 2 or 3. So instead of having to interview 40 or 50 people, I'm able to hire those 2 or 3 people much more efficiently by having a career fair. And so literally we will have hundreds of applicants. Well, probably this year we might have, I'm going to guess here, I know in the past year we've had quite a few applicants, but I bet in 2019 we'll have I'd say over 180 applicants. A bunch of them will get screened out, probably 80 of those, so we'll probably get down to 100, and then we'll probably, by a career fair, on a phone call, resume check, we'll probably screen that down to 50. Probably 30 of them will end up getting interviews, and probably 15 of them will end up getting jobs. That's literally the breakdown. And so when it comes to efficiency, having that career fair can be very important and vital. But regardless, I'd say efficiency is one of the most important things when it comes to the interviewing process. Yes, you don't want to lose out on a great person because you're trying to rush through people. But on the other hand, it can be a huge time suck and a time waster for you as a business owner to always be interviewing every single applicant. I'd highly encourage you to, number 1, have a screening process. Number 2, don't waste their time and don't waste your time. If you know they're not going to work out, get rid of them. I never follow up on those references, even though I collect them. We never ask them to come back, and that's the end of the story. All right. Number 3, references matter. Once you get those references, they are absolutely a critical function and piece of the hiring process. I know for a fact we have lost out on great people because we have taken the extra time to ensure we got references. I know for a fact just a couple weeks ago, we lost out on someone I wanted to hire very badly. They are incredible employee. The references ended up being fantastic, but the problem was that those references took a week to get back to us, and because great people always have options when it comes to jobs, That's a very important thing. If you have great people that are applying for your business, you have to remember they have many, many options out there, and they have 5, 6 other companies that are willing to gobble them up. So that's why you need to have efficiency baked into your interviewing process to be able to do it quickly and efficiently and quickly and get a job offer in front of them as soon as possible, but yet have already screened them, made sure validated their references, validated their resume. And so it's very important to do this efficiently. However, we will slow the process down, and we will wait for references to get back to us. We'll call references multiple times to get those reference checks prior to hiring someone. So I know for a fact we just lost someone, and they went and worked for someone else simply because we did not get back to them in time. However, I am confident, and I am not apologizing for the fact that we waited for the references. I could not have hired that person with the level of trust that I want if I did not get those references. Those references did get back to us. They were amazing. They were absolutely glowing reviews. However, we didn't get them in time. That individual went on to get another job, but I'm not going to kick myself, because 9 out of 10 times I would kick myself if I would have hired someone, not checked the references, and learned down the road that individual was not going to fit well with our culture. So number 3, references absolutely matter. And when I call those references, I am going to absolutely pick their brains, and during the interview with the applicant, I'm going to ask them, when I call Mr. Jones, your previous employer, what do you think they will say about your performance? What will they say about your punctuality? What will they say about your sales ability? And make sure you get the truth. Ask them, what will your employer say when I ask them about how you left their company? I'm always asking those applicants how it ended at those jobs are on their resume. Every single one. We go through from the most recent all the way back, and we go through, how did it end? Was it just because they moved? Was it just because something happened in their family, or they had some sort of change? Or was it ending badly? Were they tearing down other employees or management? Do they say derogatory things about the employer or their boss or their manager? Those are telltale signs that they're going to do the same thing to you. So references matter. Number 4 is be efficient. Have a career fair. Have a way and a system to make sure that you do not spend hundreds of hours trying to find the right person, when in reality you could create a system like a career fair that weeds them out from the get and saves you so much time. So those are the 4 tips I would have for your interviewing process. I have a big announcement. If you listen to the Landscape Business Course, you already know this announcement. We just recently had a conference, Landscape Summit. It was an absolute blast, a 3-day conference that I had for these landscapers, and we actually had other individuals from other industries that showed up. At the conference, we launched a new program, and it's called Pro Plus. And what we are going to do, we're going to use the funds from that new program. Basically, these companies pay $379 a month to get access to myself through webinars, phone calls, and different mediums. And so it's a little more personal, and they're able to get more advice and one-on-one time with me and get their questions answered on a monthly basis. And so what those funds are going to go towards is actually building out a training facility. What that means is no longer are you just going to hear me audio on Business Bootcamp Podcast. The big announcement today is that from in several weeks, we're going to have a studio. It's going to be a built-out studio with video, and it's going to be much more professional. And so you're going to actually get the video version of this podcast, and I'm very much looking forward to it. It's going to start off small and pretty basic, 100 times better than what I have right now, but it's not going to be anything incredibly elaborate, but we're just going to continue to build on it over the course of the next year. And by 2020, the facility is going to be opened for training, live training of project managers, estimators, field crew and staff, and the business owners of landscaping companies. So I'm very much looking forward to it. It's been a huge milestone for me, something that I've always wanted to do, and I really feel like the beginning of something really, really cool. I think the conference for me was a big deal. It was a big turning point. I felt like it kind of segued me from the first inning to the second inning of my 9-inning game of my career, and I really look forward to it. It was a big thing for me just maybe mentally, but also just to see other people stepping up to the plate, supporting the vision and cause that I have really dedicated my career towards, and am so looking forward to the future and looking forward to building out this training facility, making it a place where landscapers can send their staff, they can come, be inspired and educated in the terms of business. And so I'm very much looking forward to that. And so you can look forward to, in a few more weeks, seeing the video version of this podcast and seeing me live in studio. And I can't wait for that. But until next time, be great, because nothing else pays. You've been listening to Mike Andes on the Business Bootcamp Podcast.